Good morning. Another rainy day here in the forests of Pennsylvania. This seems to be the way of it of late, this particular summer. I just built a garden shed recently, and I think what I should have done was build an ark. But nevertheless, we do live in what is essentially a deciduous rainforest, so I should be happy. The trees are sure green, as you can see out the window. And apropos of that, the short story I'd like to share with you is something that I call In the Trees. And this was written in June. The Seneca are a Northeast American woodland people who have lived in harmony with nature for thousands of years. Originally called the people of the Great Hill, they were one of the original 5 nations of the Iroquois Confederacy. As Americans, we are indebted to many who helped frame our Constitution, but the idea for the document seems to have come from the Iroquois Confederacy. According to one tradition, a peacemaker appeared among the nations at a time of great intertribal bloodshed and terror. His mission was to unite the people under the great law of peace. Having convinced each tribe that the others would join if they did, he led the tribal leaders in a ceremony. He unearthed a tree of the long leaves, a white pine, and had the people throw their weapons into the hole so that the underground rivers could carry away any bad thoughts contained in them. He then replanted the tree. He then taught the people to meet under the protection of the tree. Pine needles grow in clusters of 5, and this represented the individual families. Each branch symbolized a clan, and all the clans were joined to one trunk that was rooted firmly in the earth, and that reached for the sky. At the top of the tree, the peacemaker placed an eagle, the one who sees far, to warn the chiefs of any approaching danger. The tree was said to have 4 great roots, growing north, east, south, and west. People of every nation were invited to follow these roots to the source, and to sit with the Iroquois under the great tree of peace. A friend of mine, Nancy, who was born and raised in Southern California, moved to the Northeast after she got married. She moved in the winter, and said that when the trees leafed out in summer, she freaked out at how claustrophobic it felt to her. The density was overwhelming. I confess that after 4 months of virtually sun-obliterating emerald profusion, the change in leaf color and eventual fall is most welcome, as is the ability to once again see the sunsets across the ravine. My trips to the waterfall just a half-mile away from my treehouse are in part to get out from under the canopy and into the more open trails and into the meadows around the ponds and lakes. But on the other hand, the air sure does smell good, naturally perfumed, with shifting, subtle nuances with each week, sometimes from day to day. Right now, it is the fresh mountain laurel, mixed with the latter stages of honeysuckle, with a touch of wild grape blooms. Rarely do we actually get to eat the grapes, as Bambi seems to be fond of them as well. Although, if I were so disposed, I could bring a ladder and climb to the upper reaches of the vines in the trees and pick some that the deer are unable to reach. They are clever, though, those deer ones. They'll stand on their hind legs if they really want something a bit higher.